Well, hello everybody. This is another episode of Reality Is, and this video is about the bully in the office. So, as we seen today, he's talking about charging Mexico 20% and China, and then the rest of the cost, which would be a tariff tax, will probably end up going back to the people in the states. He's making it hard for people to purchase housing. He's put a freeze on federal hiring. His administrative staff, Kelly Conway, Sean Spicer, and Rents, whatever the guy's last name, all they do is lie. And a lot of the State Department whole team resigned. He's pretty much been a bully since he's been in office, but it's nothing new because those are the characteristics that he displayed while he was campaigning. The funny part to all this is his bright idea of making America great. You want to talk about dismantling the Affordable Care Act, which it benefits 20 million American citizens. You want to put a ban on Muslim. You want to work on the immigration, but is your wife really legal? It's amazing to me. You sit down and you write all these executive orders, and people seem to think that it's okay to write these executive orders. You're not thinking the impact it's going to have on the people, how it's going to stress, strap, and strain people in the country, and who has to foot all these bills for these decisions, because you all have money already. You're well established. Your cabinet is full of millionaires and billionaires. So what do you care about people being sick and don't have health insurance? What do you care about kids with illness and diabetes and cancer that they can't get medical attention? What do you care? The funny part is a lot of us didn't vote. And it's sad that you sit back and you thought that it didn't make a difference. Well, he didn't get the popular vote. But the Electoral College made the decision on him being in office. And I have yet to hear somebody step up to the plate and say we need to dismantle the Electoral College. And that hasn't happened yet. We spend all our time on little small forest fires. You worry about Steve Harvey and him meeting. You worry about Chrisette Michelle and her singing. But we spend our time bickering amongst each other, and that's what they want us to do, to take the focus off what's taking place, with him sitting down with a pen in his hand and how it will have an impact. It took us 8 years to really get our grips and get out of recession with a failing housing market. The car industry was crashing. And so your ideal of making America great is taking us back. You want to institute all these taxes. You want to cut a lot of stuff. This is a country. It is not your personal business. You can't run the country like you run your business, because you have different variables to consider, and that's not being considered whatsoever. So now the Republicans has the control of the Congress and the Senate. They have the majority, and because they pretty much tried to be bullied when President Obama was in office, now they're getting it back triple time. Matter of fact, it may be quadruple. So because the new person that sits in the Oval Office, he is an advocate of tweeting, and he tweet dumb stuff at that, things that don't really require a response or a conversation. Like, you make a big deal about the size of the audience for your inauguration when it was really not that big, and most of the people that was there, they was actually protesting, so that don't count. And then you get on TV in an interview and you say people like you. Well, no, I don't like you, and a lot of people don't like you. You just had a march with women from all walks of life, and clearly, for the first time in history, this is probably the worst I've ever seen when it comes down to a person sits in the Oval Office. We've had a variety of presidents, and never in my life of living have I seen this kind of chaos and confusion not even 2 weeks into the seat, even before you get into the seat. And we sit behind closed doors. There are people who's protesting, there are people who's doing what they need to do, and I commend you for that. But those are others who sit and all we do is complain. We just run our mouths, our lips part, and a bunch of air comes out and words come out, and we make no effort to make a difference. So instead of talking, we have to step up to the plate. We have to let our voices be heard. Now, I know God is in control. He allowed things to happen. I get that. But we're still responsible for our one step. We have to do our one step. So for us as African Americans, we wouldn't have the rights we have or be in a position that we're in if people hadn't marched, they hadn't fought for what they believed in. Your Martin Luther King, your Malcolm X, your Rosa Parks. We would still be back where we was before. But he's talking about instituting law and order. Do we really understand what he's talking about? Stop and frisk for any reason. We already have issues with police killing black people with no excuse. Well, we killing each other too. So when do we come to common sense to know that we need to find another route of doing different things differently? Because if the military was to drop off into Chicago, Illinois, it's not going to be nice. Not whatsoever. Because he's going to make sure that it's not nice. Next, the mayor really don't care about what's happening. All they do, the man in the Oval Office is about position, power, and control. That's what it's about. To make his name bigger, to help make his company what it should be financially, give him some status. Even though he said he resigned, you got to know that he still have some say-so in some areas. But what are we going to do? We're going to sit back and just let things happen? Because it's not going to get better. We're going to have to let our elected officials know, from your mayors to your state representative, to your governors, to your senators, and to your congressmen, that we're not happy and we're not going to accept this. They need to step up and make their voices heard, because when they took an oath of office, whether you vote for them or not, they're representing the people. We are those people that they are representing, and they need to do their jobs. And if they cannot represent the people like they should, then we need to start taking notes. And we need to start getting rid of people in the seats, because they don't deserve, they're not representing you. They're representing themselves. It's all about filling their pockets. And for an elected official who makes over $500,000, don't feel the need that you should be required to have a higher minimum wage. Don't feel the need that you should be required to be covered in medical coverage. Don't feel the need that education is important. Don't feel the need to look out for your seniors. Don't feel the need to look out for your military personnel, but you steady filling your pockets, and you steady taking care of the people who already have money and don't need that help. And then we sit back and we're like, well, they're going to do it anyway. No, we can no longer have that mentality. We have to step up to the plate, make our voices heard. We use social media for all kinds of things that we should not be using. When we having bad relationships, or if we're half naked, or if our boyfriends or our girlfriends don't treat us right, we want to use it to talk about a relationship. We want to use it to embarrass somebody. Well, how about using social media for something that will be very impactful, like making a difference? If you can't get out to a march, you can't make a phone call, then use your social media. It's enough of us. It's a new era. We have internet. We have Snapchat. We have Tumblr. We have Instagram. We have Facebook. We have Twitter. We have Google Plus One. You name it, we have it. We need to use it. We need to start bombarding every elected official across the city and states. We need to bombard the senators and the congressmen. You need to use your social media. Let them know you're not happy. You need to call. You need to text. We need to shut their service down. We need to do it so much that their Twitter accounts will have to cut off, because this is the only way we're going to get their attention. This man tweets nonstop for foolishness. And we need to let him know we're not going to be tolerating this foolishness. Make that effort. Don't just sit behind these closed doors just talking. We have to come from behind the walls and let our voices be heard. Or we don't, it's trouble. That's all I'm saying. And I know this video is very long, but it's just aggravating my spirit. I'm trying to keep my composure and keep cool. But I'm so sick of this. And I'm thinking about the kids and the grandkids who have to grow up in this nonsense. And it has to stop. It has to.